share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And there's a lot happening. There's a lot going down. The new series of Doctor Who is, what, about just over a week away, and the BBC seems to be rather excited now. Well, not the BBC. Chris Chibnall seems to be rather excited. Oh, let's be more exact about that. He seems to be pretending to be excited. Doesn't seem excited at all. Now, why do I say that? How do I know that with any degree of possible accuracy? How do I know that? Because last night I was doing a live stream and I was going over all the news, which we're going to be going over here right now. And when you do it, I was reading the BBC Radio Times articles. And they suggested this article of 13 reasons to watch the new season. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. I haven't seen that before. This was before season 11 came out. And it was written by Chris Chibnall. And you forget the excitement and optimism that production team had, right? You forget like how dizzily excited they were when they thought it was all going to work out just incredibly well, right? They, and seeing the difference between that and this is shocking. But there's a lot of stuff going down. Most of it honestly, most of it is just a smokescreen, so normies think it's not failing. Right, because perception is reality. And also something else we're going to be looking at is a story somebody sent me about meeting Russell T Davies recently, which will give you an indication about where he's going in 2023, which is pretty good news if it's true. I don't know. I also know this is a story somebody sent me. Who knows? Who knows what dares to dream? I dare to dream it's true, but who knows if it is true? But also, what we're talking about is David Tennant returning to Doctor. No, he's. Maybe for like an appearance or an episode, not permanently. But then again, Russell T Davies is coming back. There's nothing I can say that's like, no, that can't happen, right? Yeah. So who knows their dream? Before we get into it, can you hit the like button? Fan Dabby, double dozy. I'd like to be liked, baby. I think we all do. I like to be liked. I like to be shared. But listen, you should keep that to yourself if you're the same. If you like to be shared, you keep it to yourself. But you know what? I'm not going to be keeping it to myself. I like to be. You hit the like button. I hit the share button. But I love you hitting the subscribe button. And man, that makes me tingly. You want to make a rabbi tingle? Hit the subscribe button today. That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much. And if you're subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. YouTube will unsubscribe you. And comment. Let me know what you think. I always forget that. That's important. Commenting is very, very important. I think we're a week out from me starting to look at starting my Substack. If you're a backer of my Indiegogo, it's being the UK, the non-US orders are being shipped out, I think today, right? It's Friday I'm recording this, I think today. By the way, 3 minutes to 9 o'clock, and I'm already recording. I'm really, really chuffed with myself, because normally I aim to start at 9, I start at 10, so I'm starting before 9. So I'm very happy, because I got live streams there at 4 o'clock, and then right after that, Sabbath start. So, I got to be done relatively early. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, comment. All these things are good. All these things are fan dabby double dozy. Thank you very much. Fine, let's read the story first. Where is it? Over here. So this guy sent me. A guy I went to college with sent me this. So again, this is the way rumors normally start. It sounds like a reasonable story. I could believe it. You will enjoy this. I did enjoy this. I did. But if you're the person who sent me the story and you'd like me to credit you, please let me know. Okay. A certain experience a few days ago. I was with a mate on the South Bank, looking at the River Thames. Russell T Davies walked past. Well, that's always exciting. He was on his way to see a play at the National Theatre. This all sounds like Russell T Davies, right? It's like, okay, National Theatre, South Bank, fine. He noticed we recognised him, so he came over for a chat. See, it seems to me that he would run screen. He wouldn't come over for a chat, but he also seems to be a very personal person, right? So it seems to be that, okay, we're still in the realms of possibility, right? Being credible. We told him that we thought the current show was rubbish, and we hoped it would be he would make it great again. He laughed. Oh, just imagine. And put his hand over his mouth, saying, "This sounds. If this is made up, it's by a good writer. Russell Davis needs to get in contact with him because it's by a good writer, because it sounds he's writing in character. I will, although I'm not supposed to say that. I can so hear him do this, right? I get, and then my friend said, "Don't forget the old fans," and he said, "Exactly, I won't." You know what? Because it's so clear now. Go look at Radio Times. Look up Chris Chibnall. He wrote that article, 13 Reasons to Watch the what's the new Doctor Who. And the reason they made that Series 11 without any monsters that you recognize or anything, any continuity, is because they didn't want the old audience. They didn't want the old fans. They really didn't want them at all. And they wanted this new audience, which they were convinced they were going to get. But the new audience isn't interested. The new audience are they're a teeny tiny group of people living on Twitter who scream a lot, right? That new audience doesn't exist. We're the ones that pay you. And I think they started to work that out. So I suspect Rusty Davis knows the current Doctor Who is not very good, although he wouldn't say it in public. Of course not. Well, here's my take. The BBC are shitting themselves. That the audience are leaving the show. It's been if it had been successful, Chibnall would be staying. I agree with you entirely. 3 and done, please. He would have stayed for 5 years if he was successful. And again, go back and read that article. It's freaking fascinating, right? Absolutely, because he thought it was going to be great, right? He was, and then you can see with the pre-publicity of season 12, he hoped he was sweating buckets and hoped it was going to be great. It's tough to run. Who better than the man who brought it back? Listen, from the BBC's perspective, it makes a lot of sense, right? He said to everybody he's wishing him well, so he knows he's got to bring back the show to life. Right? Yeah. So indeed, that does make sense. Let's start with David Tennant. Should we start with David Tennant? 1 second. Now we just pull out the article. Too many tabs open. How am I going to do this? How am I going to close these? 1 second. Let me move this one over here. So it's the last. We'll do the David Tennant thing last. Okay. Fine. So let's start. So that's what's coming in the future, speedily in our days. Right? Can that happen speedily in our days? That'd be fantastic. Let's have a look at where is it? What's happening a week from now. Doink. There you go. Doctor Who, Christian Rock promises to blow up the universe in Series 13, Episode 1. So, this is what you do when you're terrified and you've got no ideas and no ability to write. For other examples, please see Star Trek Discovery, right? Although, why would they be terrified? They were under... the performance of that show, or Star Trek in general, has nothing to do with the continued employment of Alex Kurtzman. But that's basically what they do. Go big! I mean, J.J. Abrams being Star Wars. We've got to have a Death Star thing, but let's have it blow up 7 planets this time. Or it was just... It's like, let's go big! Yeah, this is always the way they go, right? Always the way they go. And of course, look at the picture of Jodie Whittaker. If you're not, look at the screen if you can. She's scared, doesn't know what she's doing. Oh, Ecky Thump. I mean... It's just like something you'll notice throughout all the marketing for this season, right? Something you're going to notice over and over and over again is how they're selling it not with Jodie Whittaker, not with Mandip Gill. It's like, look, we got Sontarans, we got big dog creatures, we got, They're not selling it with Jodie Whittaker. There's a reason for that, because she's not very good. She's not very saleable. The upcoming series is set to feature the biggest ever cliffhanger. Well, if you remember the Big Bang, all reality exploded, right? Do you remember that? It doesn't get much bigger than that. And honestly, it doesn't need to be so big, right? You can have a good story on smaller stakes. Big Finish do it all the time. The upcoming series is set to feature some of the biggest ever cliffhangers, according to Chris Chibnall. Go big. He's written all the episodes, apparently. Upcoming series of children, maybe Christian was last, or maybe his last he's ever writing, but he's determined to make the most of it. He's going out with the outgoing showrunner promising to blow up the universe in the season 13 premiere. Yeah, okay, well, I think it's going to probably work out okay in the end. Speaking to Radio Times and other press at a webinar for the BBC show. That's why it was coming out. He did a Zoom meeting. Okay, that's why it went down. He's done a Zoom meeting. Chibnall said he knew that he would have to take Doctor Who in a new direction to accommodate the complications related to the corona pandemic. In a new probably a direction he wasn't planning in, but honestly, I guess somebody else commented on this on one of the videos that that Chibnall actually will. This format is much better for Chibnall. Not to have, he doesn't have to have a beginning, middle, and end in each story, which is something he finds hard. Something else he finds hard is good characterization and making you care about anything. But so you can have. He can space out. The problem is they're dropping this over 6 weeks, and if you don't jump in that first week, I think you're pretty much out. I think and then so whatever that first week rating's going to be, then watch it full. I think by the time we're done, we'll probably be at about 5 million. Is my guess. It's against the end of a Transformers movie on ITV, but that doesn't really matter. It changed everything really from start to finish. We knew we had to reinvent and reimagine the show to deal with the kind of production related of COVID. So this is like an ongoing thing with Chris Chibnall, right? This is an ongoing whenever he's talking about. He always talks about his struggle making Doctor Who. Like, we didn't know this. It's always like a mercurial money man trying to diary. It's boring, right? We don't care. I understand it's a tough job. Okay, you're failing at it. That you're doing it, that you're producing something isn't enough. It needs to not be garbage. There were two ways we could go. We could have lots of stories set in a room with two people, or we could blow up the universe in episode 1 and go from there. So we went blowing up the universe strategy. Okay. He then had a season 13 because there's 6 episodes or chapters which will tell us one story and feature the biggest ever cliffhangers. Okay. I mean, it's always interesting. It's always interesting with Doctor Who. There's a precedent. There's always been a variation on what you're doing. So this harks back to the things that the show has done in the past. Well, you said that all the way through, but it never has, right? When it's not nice, you have multi-episode serials and things like that. It changes the rhythm of the storytelling. It makes it easier. If you got a wider canvas, it's easier. But if you have something like a 12-episode series that you do as one story, it just is too long. 6 episodes is actually a good sweet spot, but I still think it's going to be okay. Here's what I think we're saying: glitz, big color, boom, special effects. Nothing making sense and being kind of boring, right? I think it's still going to be boring with all these big shots because there's no story right behind it, tying this all together. Let's go to the next article. So lots of cliffhanger, I would say, is the big thing, which is embedded into Doctor Who. Some of our biggest cliffhangers ever. Okay, good for you. So, next one. Is Doctor Who returning to classification on Series 30? This is actually the only article that in any way interested me when I was going for putting this together. We don't really need to read the Vord. Okay, look, this picture tells the article. So, where is it? Between the Radio Times song, Yaz actress Mandip Gill reflected on a particularly memorable stunt she filmed for the new 6 Part, saying, in the first episode, there's a scene where above an acid ocean. It was wireworks. This must be where they're hanging upside down. Although I thought they did that just laying on a table. We were quite excited, and then we cut to an hour upside down. I was like, my head's going to explode. It's not fun anytime. The harness is too tight. Oh, it's almost as if you're being paid to inconvenience yourself. We got some really unflattering behind-the-scenes pictures and footage. Oh, can we get those released? Put those on the cover of Doctor Who magazine. That'll be a laugh. Which I actually looked at the other day. The whole bit of being upside down, swinging around and screaming. Okay, so you fine. They're in. Are they going? Yeah. So the Sea of Acid that was in the Keys of Marinus. Could be. Could be. Who cares? It's the relentless question of so what? Who cares? We got some images, right? This is a much better image of Sontaran. Although, Listen, a lot of things. I mean, maybe this is my dirty mind, okay? And my mind is dirty. I will admit my mind to be dirty. But here, one second. Let me just see if I can zoom in on this picture. Maybe download it. Did that work? Oh, fine. Let me open it up. Okay, fine. So now we go over here. There you go. So I can make this bigger. I'll move over here so you can see it. There you go. There you go. A better picture of the Sontaran. It does look a bit like a sex toy holding a sex toy. I mean, really looks a bit sex toy-ish, right? Holding a sex toy. I don't know. That just may be where my dirty mind goes, which is dirty. Although again, these Sontarans are getting less impressive the more I see them. Right? I think the body looks a bit too light now for it, right? Because it just, I don't know. And also, I don't think Dan Stark is playing the Sontarans anymore, which is a bit of a shame. He really nailed it. I liked his take on it. And so here's the other one. Yeah, let's get one. You know what? Let's get all these pictures out. And then we'll get this one as well. Wait, let me go over here. Put this one here. And the trouble with technology is by the time you can afford it, you're too old. You're too old. You don't know what you're doing. Let's try this. Okay, let's have a look. Right, so this is a pretty good set. It's a good costume. Although, you know what I thought about when I looked at this? I said, if they wanted to revamp the Tomorrow People in the same way they've revamped Doctor Who, this feels much more Tomorrow People to me than Doctor Who, right? Like, what's the name? But yeah, it seems like the sort of thing you'll see on Doctor Who, right? And then you see why they're not using Jodie Whittaker to tell the series. I mean, look at that. It's just... She's not intimidating. It's more like, oh God, got to deal with this Karen, right? That's really the vibe I get off it. Fine. I'm the Doctor. I don't know what I'm doing. Fine. I think that's all there is to know about there. Now this bit imagery is pretty good, right? It's this bit of marketing. If it wasn't Jodie Whittaker in the middle, it does look like she's been photoshopped a bit, doesn't it? Hang on, let's zoom in on this. Yeah. Yeah, right. I mean, it just doesn't look that natural. It looks like the mouth has been photoshopped from another picture. Right, or like this area has been photoshopped from another image. Right, it looks like lower quality than the average Big Finish cover. I mean, like the colourful stuff is good, but it's so obviously say, hey, we're down with the gays. We like gay. I know you wear a rainbow on your bloody chest. Really, it's funny, you know. You may know this, you may not know this. In the Old Testament, there was a story called the flood, right? You've heard of the flood. So the reason the flood happened was the people became very immoral. Essentially, if you go into the commentaries about it, right? What their definition of immorality was pretty much the overwhelming trends of today, right? It was. They made marriage documents not between men and women, but between whatever anybody wanted, right? It's which is where I think we're going, honestly. I mean, listen, there was a big thing yesterday about the first female four-star admiral got sworn in for America, and yeah, this female four-star admiral also has a penis, right? So it doesn't seem any more bizarre to me. Anyway, but so God brings the flood, right? And then because he gets very irate about these sort of things. I'm not telling you to believe it. I'm just telling you what it bloody says, right? And after that, there's a rainbow. Why is there a rainbow? It's basically God saying, you deserve to be destroyed. You deserve to be wiped out, but I've made a deal that I'm not going to do it, and that's what the rainbow's for. It's funny then that the rainbow is the symbol that has been adopted by the people adopting exactly the same behavior. That according, again, this is not me writing it, okay? This was written in the 12th century, and before, that same kind of attitudes to sex and gender was represented by a rainbow. It's really weird. It's really weird. So Chris Chibnall gets super excited over here. Doctor Who boss teases guest cast. I'm leaving some people out. I think there'll be more. Yeah, it's called Session to One, probably. It's official, blah 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 blah, and we got lots of them, haven't we? Says Showrunner Chris Chibnall. I need a list in front. I need a list in front of me so I can tell you. We have Annabelle Shirley, Kevin McNally. Who else we got? Now Kevin McNally is the closest thing they got to a real star. He was in Pirates of the Caribbean as kind of a bit part with the guy from The Office, right? Who's now playing Wurzel Gummidge. Who I would say that guy is closer to A-list than Kevin McNally. Who else we got? We got other guest cast like Sarah Powell in episode 2. We got Stan Spruill. We got Rashonda Sandel. And we got Craig Parkinson. How's that for a list? It's mediocre. These are all jobbing actors in Equity, right? These are just... Big Finish will get most of these people without blinking, right? You phone up their agent and you book them. It's like, none of these people are impressive. Tom Baker, he's A-list, right? David Tennant's A-list. Matt Smith is A-list. Ricky Gervais will be A-list. There's a lot of people A-list. None of these people. Craig Parkinson is not A-list. I like Craig Parkinson. I liked him in Line of Duty, and I liked him in Mr. I generally like him most things. Jacob Anderson is bigger than all of these people, and I hadn't really heard of him either. I mean, like, oh, he's the bloke from Game of Thrones. There's some fantastic actors. You get to see a bit more of them than you normally do in a single episode. Yeah, well, yes, because it's a serial. So much better for us. And so I'm leaving some people out. Well, I know I'm leaving some people out deliberately. Oh, yeah. God. You know who he reminds me of? Okay, this is who Chibnall reminds me of. Do you remember Ever Decreasing Circles, Richard Pryor's show? Well, I'm not going into it, but he had a very dull neighbour. Right? I think Howard wasn't that? That's Chris Chibnall, who's like got no like game or personality whatsoever. So who could Christian be deliberately leaving out of this? Well, obviously it's Sacha Dhawan or either one of those two, Sacha Dhawan or Dr. Ruth. Okay, who cares? So what? Who cares? It's really, I can't, this is my overwhelming fight for all of this. So what? Who cares? Oh my God, this is the worst one. Doctor Who might have just solved the season 13 Swarm mystery once and for all. Yes, this is so Chris bloody Chibnall, right? This is so insanely Chris Chibnall all over. So at the end of their Comic-Con, a pre-recorded thing, where you weren't allowed to comment on, or give it up or down vote to, right? And then 3 days later, they announced that Jodie's leaving. They went out and announced it, didn't announce the Ooh, didn't announce Weeping Angels, even though Stephen Moffat announced it in an Instagram post a day later. There's so much they could have done. There's Cybermen. There's so much they could have done. Weeping Angels. But no, nothing. But he did say, how would you describe this season in one word? And so Chibnall looked enigmatically at camera, as enigmatically as he commanded, and said, Swarm. So, there was speculation that Swarm was an acronym. It was standing for Sontarans, Weeping Angels, Ravagers. In a race called the Ravagers. And the M would be Master. It sounds like the sort of stupid thing Chibnall would do, right? No. The ongoing rule with Chris Chibnall is always going to be worse than you possibly imagine, right? It's always going to be more boring and more dull than you can possibly imagine. And that's exactly a swarm. Is in the credits list. There's somebody being played by Sam Shmuel, whatever his name is, the Sam Spruell, whoever he is. Okay, who's he play? Who's Swarm? It could be like the weird guy with the crystals in his face. Again, who cares? I can't wait. I wish it was dropping on one day so we just get it over with, right? John Bishop tricked Dad Bradley Walsh into giving him Doctor Who trips. I think look at John Bishop's expression, right? I mean, I think this is I think this is worth a zoom in, don't you? I think so. One second, we'll go over here. It's like, bloody hell, I don't care. They said be in Doctor Who. I didn't think I'd be in this thing. Oh my God, look at him. He's like, what's going on? How am I here? Not much acting involved there, is it, mate? I can see that. So John Bishop tricked Bradley Walsh and gave him Doctor Who to... How did he trick him? Didn't he just say, can you give me some sense? I think it's more like Bradley Walsh tricked him into taking the job. Nah, you want to do it, Cockle. Oh, it's lovely. People are going to love you. It's so popular, Cockle. Right, that's more likely what happened. When I was at Soccer Aid, like, I knew what was happening, but didn't know it was. But he didn't know what was happening. Oh, I heard the story before. He was at Soccer Aid too. Fine. So, what's the set like? What's Cardiff like? He said, I was asking all this question. He's going, I've been doing it for 2 years. You've never asked me once. So afterwards, so I told him I was just before it was announced, and I think he had a slight inkling. There's a lot I'm desperate to see because you've read the script, but you weren't thinking that bit was filmed. And now it all hangs together over six, rather than just hangs together over the episode. It's something they're looking forward to. Whatever. It's a reasonably boring story. Jodie Whittaker pays tribute to Mandip Gill as Doctor Who filled in concludes. Her vagina tasted very nice. You want me better than Marmite, better than Bovril. Although in all fairness, it's probably the other way. And they just get the quote. I'm not reading through the stupid story. I know that the best time I've ever had on a job, really, the best time you ever had on a job was the worst time anybody who liked that show has ever seen. Best time I've ever had on a job, Jodie said over time and so I felt like from the start of it, I just think I'm really lucky as well. Well, you are. Because you didn't get there through talent and work and that sacrifice. No. You got there because you had a vagina and happened to know Chris Chibnall and David Tennant. What's her name said no. quite smartly. Whatever her name is. Peep Show, The Crown. Living Coleman. There you go. Broadchurch. That was the one I'm looking for. Well, because with Mandip, if you're ever going to side by side with someone throughout the entire journey, being on set with Mandip has been amazing because she's one of the funniest people I've ever met. No, she's not! One of the funniest people. I don't believe you. I do not believe. I am calling bullshit on this one. No bloody way is she one of the funniest people you ever met. Listen, to be funny, and speaking of somebody who is of occasion a little bit amusing, to be funny, you need to be clever. You need to be able to think of things in an instant, right? You need and take the piss, right? John Bishop, he strikes me as somebody who's funny. Mandip Gill does not strike me as somebody who's funny, other than reading her Instagram feed, which is all like, there's nothing going on between those ears. The thing that's emotional about it is me and Mandip have been very aware throughout that we've been terrible because we've done so much press that have you been aware how much you've been hated in the role that we've been in it? We know we're going to do. We knew when we're doing press on season 1, didn't we? Sometimes we'll be like, we know we're having a brilliant time. You can just tell. Can you just tell we're not having a brilliant time, right? As well, next for Widow, when she hands in a sonic screwdriver, so she will no doubt be not short on offers. Listen, if you haven't announced anything yet, doesn't sound good for you, Jodie. She knows that finding something as much fun will be told. Who cares about it? It's fun. When a client gets in contact with me and says, "We would like to do some video production or something," I don't. Oh, will it be a fun job? No. Will you? Are you going to pay me? Really? That's it. Oh God, would you love to live in that wibbly wobbly world? I'm in the middle of work for me. So I started working when I was 22. Most people started when they're 18. Also, I'm going to be and I'm going to be 40 next year. So I'm in the middle bit of it, darling. I think you're on the way down. I don't think you're on the way up, though, baby. Okay. And I feel that of all the things that I know I'm going to be associated with forever, thank God it's the thing that I've loved the most. If you loved it the most, why did you take a relentless shit on it? Like, honestly, I love my wife, right? I've never taken a shit on my wife, right? I've never, ever taken a shit on my... Now, listen. I understand there are some people out there who are into it, right? Here's a question. If my wife said, for sexual gratification, I would want you to take a shit on me, would I? Oof. That's probably a no. Man, okay. This is breaking news. We're getting here in this video. What is the limits of my love for my wife? I don't want to take a shit on her. Really? Oh, that's just gross. And may I say, if there is somebody in a relationship that wants you to do that, that's probably not the relationship for you. Unless you like that thing, and then never let that person go. Okay? Look, I'm not casting aspersions. Whatever floats your boat, baby. Whatever floats your boat. Jodie Wicker, the joy of this job is your hand on your boots. Not those boots. Who's next is a big question. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. We've been, how she feels to leave the role of the Doctor Who says, we've been very present in it. Well, you certainly haven't been like looking at it from an overview. But you just have to honour the show and honour everything. What? Okay, how is this? You're so disconnected from reality. In what way did you honour the show? Right? You made this character into a hateful, and really a hateful conformist. Part of a hate mob, you are part of the Twitterati, who are morons who just like to preen and feel good about themselves. This is everything the Doctor isn't. Yeah, how did you on the show? You didn't know anything about the show going in, and you still don't, right? You still act like the sonic screwdriver is a magic wand. No, act like it's something that's real. Make this real in your head. You're not playing a telly bloody tubby, although you would be forgiven for thinking so with the quality of these scripts. Me and Curtis Chimble, showrunner, there was a thing like, we want to do 3 seasons, but no one holds you to that. So there was always a conversation about how long to stay. It was always fluid, because fluid's one of the words they told me to use, because that's one of the ones that people like. But when you commit to that decision, I can't imagine it being written. It's like, this doctor is Chris's doctor. Yeah, she's shit. She is just shit as a doctor. It's right to leave. It's right to leave now, darling. It was right to leave 2 years ago. Okay. But if everyone comes up to you forever going, I'm a Doctor Who fan, then it's an absolute. Well, you can imagine how many people would come up to you if you actually weren't awful at it, right? Then it's an absolute joy, because it's been such a pleasure. Not for me. It's a pleasure. No, she's filled with grief having left the series. He left the series, and also by looks of it, the acting profession. Even thinking about it makes me upset, darling. It makes fandom elated. Elated like I never seen fandom elated before. But the show needs a new energy. Yes, and it needed it for several years. The Doctor, the joy of the part is you get the hand on your boots. I said boots, that's a bit funny, isn't it? I'm a bit quirky, me. Anyone who says I'm a bit quirky, me, which is clearly going on ahead, isn't quirky at all. You know the people who say I'm a bit quirky, me? Milhouse from Simpsons, which is essentially who Chibnall is, right? If you don't believe me, go and watch the clip of him from '87. Go to Pip and Jane Baker. Don't you think it's a bit boring? Really? Really? Oh boy, that should be playing on a loop in your office permanently. I don't know who. I don't know who, but whoever it is, it's a thing you're going to be able to go. You're going to have a right time. Oh, God, well, we had a right old time. Fine. And now Chris Chibnall comes back and says it took longer than expected for him to leave. I'm amazed that you left, really, quite frankly. I mean, yeah, I expected to be fired after season 11, right? I was convinced I was going to be fired after season 12, and I was, okay? It's taken longer than expected, if I'll be honest. I've been throwing banners at people for about a year, and finally somebody picked it up, so he's desperate for somebody to take over, and nobody would do it. He's like, yeah. He's like, here, do you want this? You got this handful of radioactive poo, right? It is radioactive poo. 2 parts nuclear waste, 1 part Velcro. Do you want it? Yeah. No, people. But it's weird. Everybody said no. I don't understand. We had the conversation right at the start, and I can only, and I hope you can see that the atmosphere is so team-oriented and so positive. It's a proper family atmosphere. We don't care! You're making shit! Your family is making shit! What do you want me to tell you? I mean, listen, I think the Mafia is also based on families, and they've done some naughty things. The cast and crew are so close. Oh no, I've got to do it. The cast and crew are so close. You wouldn't want to do it with other people because it's just been its own little discreet show. It's been very little. Nobody's watched it. And then the next version will be its own discreet show. No, the next version is going to be a huge show. Just as Peter Capaldi was saying there, basically what he's doing, he's saying, be prepared for my era to be cauterized and retconned away. Because that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to happen in a throwaway line, right? It's going to be like you know, they keep saying like, oh, there's too many characters on TARDIS, you can't flesh any of them out. No, a writer can flesh them out. We had Mickey, Rose, Jackie, was it Captain Jack, Sarah Jane, all in the TARDIS at the same time. Donna, and we knew who they all were, right? And I think they've been deliberately very mindful to being on the moment, especially blah 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 blah. Russell D. Davis. We definitely approach it like that. They just said, live in the moment, enjoy it. Oh God. And finally, David Tennant speaks on whether he will return to Doctor Who. You should never say never to anything. Okay. He would come back for an episode. Although, you know, he was talking about doing a season with Matt Smith. The Capaldi didn't take over. They were going to do 6 episodes Matt Smith, 6 episodes David Tennant, which would have been really interesting. The 10th Doctor actor hasn't technically left Doctor Who. He can use Big Finish teaming, and is even teaming up with Jodie Whittaker, Doctor in a new video game. Oh, right. I was going to say, what? Yeah, no. Tennant, who's starring in later on Around the World in 8 Days playing Phyllis Fogg. Oh, that'd be cool. Is that on Christmas? I'm for that. Hasn't returned Doctor Who since the 50th anniversary special. Suddenly, there's a reason why Mike might be come back. Russell T. Davis. It all depends. The moment you say yes to Doctor, even before you've done an episode, you're being asked whether you'll go back after you finish. I don't know if this happens to James Bond, but I don't know if Pierce Brosnan gets asked if he'll go back to James Bond. I would love him. Okay, I would love a James Bond movie with Pierce Brosnan as it, like an old James Bond. Oh my God! In like a world of woke, I would love that. Because of an element of fantasy, anything ultimately is possible. You never say everything. I think that's where the madness lies. So he's saying quite a tease from 10. No, he's saying, if Russell Davis comes up with an idea that sounds great and wants me back for an episode, or wants me, I'm open to hearing anything, which is basically where I am with Russell Davis, right? I'm open to hearing absolutely anything. I'm excited to hear absolutely anything. Am I excited about any of the other stuff going on? No. No! Am I looking forward to it not happening? Yes. Yes, it doesn't sound very good. It doesn't sound very good. Who knows? Listen, I might be wrong. It might be brilliant. It might be the bestest ever. And if it is, I will say it's good, right? I always try and be positive about whatever I can be positive about. If it's good, I will say it's good. I don't think I'm in much danger of that happening. Really, I don't think I'm in much danger of that happening. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin. Do you want to am I from another planet? Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.